Okay, James Boyd did not practice. Marquise Simmons did not practice. Malcolm Smith did not practice. John Martinez did not practice. Dylan Baxter did not. CJ Gable did not, and Alan Bradford was limited. Obviously, we'd like to have more guys back at this point. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get some more guys back for a big-time game this weekend. Very excited as we get closer to this game for our players and for our crowd to be on this type of stage. And I know the place will be rocking and be a very exciting day for us.
Coming into the year, we didn't think you'd be involved in a lot of national high-profile games, but now that you are, I mean, how good does it feel to be in this type of a game?
Well, it feels good. We felt we'd be in a lot of them. Maybe we didn't, but unfortunately, we blew 2 of them right there at the end, and otherwise we'd be sitting 7-0 today, and it'd even be a bigger game. So can't go back and change the past. We can just improve on it. And this is a great opportunity for us, one that we're not used to from being here before. Usually it was the other way around. And so part of it's kind of neat to be on the underside, to be the underdog coming into a game like this, have all the pressure on them of having to be the #1 team in the country and withstand another week.
People seem to think that on offense you need to slow the game down against Oregon, keep their offense off the field or whatever, but people have tried that and it hasn't worked. I mean, they're near the bottom of the nation in time of possession. How do you approach this game from an offensive standpoint as far as your own tempo?
Yeah, the key against these guys, the key against anybody is the same thing, but especially against these guys is you got to score. And so whether you can slow it down, but slowing down isn't doing good if you don't score. You're slowing down and going 3 and out. You're not slowing anything down. So you got to score. And so if that happens to be fast, we'll take it because they're going to score their points and they're going to move the ball. And you got to find a way to score, regardless of how long or how fast it is. And then you got to find a way to avoid the turnovers. I think they've forced 24 turnovers this season already.
Are you surprised how good they are? They lose their quarterback and all the other kind of stuff. Maybe nobody pegged them at 7-0.
Yeah, I think as we go back to Pac-10 media days and the voting came out and they were barely #1 ahead of SC, and the questions kept going, well, they lost their quarterback and everything. Well, they're still Pac-10 champs, and I've always thought until you lose that, you're still the champs. And they had a great team last year. Beat us up and down the field last year here. So one player doesn't make that much difference, especially when the other one comes in and is playing better than that guy. So I think that says a lot about their staff. To be able to replace a quarterback that everybody thought, well, now they're not going to be as good, and they just bring in another guy. And if you go over since Chip's been there, it doesn't seem to matter who's there. They just plug another quarterback in the system and score 50 points on people.
With the #1 team going down in the nation 3 weeks in a row, do you use that as motivation at all, or are you not even bringing it up?
No, I think I don't think it has any relevance to us. I do think that it speaks volumes about how hard it is to be on top and stay up there. And I think back to being fortunate to be here before. You take that for granted. Sometimes to 34 straight games. And now that you're on the other side of that and playing the #1 team in the country, you see how focused your players come before you say anything to them because of being able to play the #1 team in the country. And I think that the last weeks have shown how hard it is to stay up there.
I feel like all the talk's been about Oregon's offense. What stands out about their defense?
Turnovers, how aggressive they are. They get a bunch of turnovers and they're really fast. They're not real big, but they seem to be all over the place. And all of a sudden, a play looks like it's gonna break open because they do a bunch of different stuff on defense, and then here comes the guy catching them, and they don't miss a bunch of tackles. So I think their defense is a lot better than people give them credit for because of what they're faced with. Whatever it is. 16 touchdown drives of less than 55 seconds. Their offense is done. The thing about that does to your defense, puts them right back on the field again and again and again. And their defense has been able to make a bunch of plays.
Matt has been, last 2 games in particular, he's been tremendous. Is he there in terms of becoming the quarterback we thought he could be, or he's still can improve?
Well, he can definitely improve. He has played very well, especially the last 2 weeks. And really, over the course of the season, he's had the 2 games with the 2 interceptions in him. Outside of that, he hasn't turned the ball over and done a really good job. I said it today. It's not his fault we couldn't tackle versus Stanford and versus Washington in the last drive, or else we're sitting here saying, boy, he engineered two scoring winning drives, to be 7-0. So I'm excited about where he's at, but he can continue to improve, and this week will be a gigantic test for him.
Did you have any problem with the thing that he tweeted about Brock Lesnar and all that, or did you talk to him about that?
I didn't have any problem because of who he is. I think that you guys being around him, the guy doesn't have a bad bone in his body, or that he'd ever try to say something about anybody else. He's always just trying to find something positive in everything that he does. It can be raining out here and he finds on some reason, that was a good thing. It's just who he is and how he was raised.
What do you take away from how Arizona State was able to move the ball, especially between the 20s?
I think that game in general, if you study it, would surprise a lot of people. Oregon punted 11 times in the game. Arizona State's defense, going against the number 1 offense in the country, to force them to 11 punts, it was phenomenal what they did that day. And think about it, they had to go back out there after 7 turnovers. Their offense turned the ball over 7 times. So if there is a blueprint of how to play them, they did it. They just obviously turned the ball over too much.
Why hasn't their quarterback gone through like a first-year transition or that he's normally experienced?
We're hoping that will be this week. No, he's done a great job, and so I'm sure they'd say the same thing. This would be another test for him, as defending the number 1 ranking, coming in here on the road. So he's done a great job. Really, really does. You kind of wait for that game and think it's going to eventually happen, but it hasn't. And it speaks a lot about him, and like I said before, it speaks a lot about the system.
Do you expect they'll just go for a 4th down? Is that going to be your mindset going into the game?
I don't know. We'll be prepared for it, and we're going to think that they're going to be aggressive as can be, and especially after last week, as aggressive as they were, even going for the 2-point conversion after the second score.
Are you envious of how quickly they get plays with your delay game issues you've had this season?
Yeah, they do a great job at it. It's really unique what they do. It's faster than anybody we've ever seen or been around, and it's a good system.